Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Beyond. I'm Dr. Ellison. This broadcast is all about inspiring, motivating, and challenging you to change the reality that you're dealing with right now, because there is a better reality. And with God's help and your consistent, persistent efforts, the present reality can change to something greater. You see, the Bible talks about moving from glory to glory, from strength to strength, from faith to faith. And even Jesus taught us to pray, God's kingdom come on earth, or heaven's reality come on earth like it is in heaven. So here we are at Living Beyond. Today we're going to talk about your number one wealth. We're going to talk about wisdom to protect your number one wealth. Your number one wealth is your health. And I believe that in order for us to protect it, we got to have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about our health. But we're going to focus in on wisdom for wellness. Wisdom for wellness. You see, it's in the heart of every individual to live a life that is healthy, disease-free, pain-free. Whereas even as we age, we look younger as we age and we live longer. The undertaker should not be getting your business anytime soon. So we're on a mission to cause the undertaker to wait. Again, to help people to be healthier, feel better, look younger, and live longer. Look younger even as you age. Who says we have to look like a dried up prune in our 50s? And our 60s. Who says we got to live like that? Who says that we got to go around with a cane when we're 62 years of age or 58 years of age? Who said we have to live like that? Are there people groups who are not living like that? Oh, yes, there are. One of my favorite people groups that I've studied for a number of years are the Hunzas of northern Pakistan. These people live on average 90, 100, 110 and beyond. On average, I read about how many of them in their 70s and their 80s will go up into the mountain in northern Pakistan, up and around and up, should I say, up into the mountains on a 20-mile hike or exploration in one day, and come back as though they had been walking 2 or 3 miles. Now, you let the average person in America and many nations like America try doing that on flat land or 5 miles, on flat land. It's not going to happen. We're not physically in shape. We're not nutritionally sound. We're not in our lifestyles sound in what we do. So therefore, we can't do some of what these older people do in northern Pakistan. But I believe with the wisdom of God. You see, God built everything through wisdom. There was nothing that God made that wisdom was not involved in, all right? And so it is with the human body, with our health. If we're going to live the kind of life that Jesus paid for us to live, let's say it like this, after he paid the price, then after that, you got to be wise in how you deal. The Bible says that by his stripes, we were healed. Okay, now we got healed by his stripes, but in order to maintain that healing, whether you needed a miracle of healing or whatever, then you got to walk in wisdom. Jesus would tell people when he would get them healed, he said, now go and sin no more. Don't go back and do the thing that caused the problem, the disease, the sickness, or whatever to come on your life. Go and sin no more. Now, what we're doing, oftentimes, we're going about and sinning against the body. What are you talking about? We're violating natural laws, and I understand it. Many times we're doing it ignorantly. We're not aware that as man or as fish was born into water for growth, survival, development, man was born into laws. There are laws that govern good health. All right. And I want to just stir up some of those wisdom nuggets that have some of the laws engaged in them that will cause you and I to live a healthier life. Now, let me ask you these series of questions before I started giving you some of the wisdom pointers. When was the last time you ever heard of 1 million cows dying of cancer? What about 500,000 pigs dying of a heart attack? Or maybe 400,000 chicken dealing with a stroke? 300,000 dogs talking about diabetic complications? Or 200,000 monkeys complaining about dementia or Alzheimer's disease? And I know you're like, come on, Ellis, are you crazy? We've never heard of anything like that. What about 100,000 elephants running to a grocery store and telling the attendant, look, I need some laxatives because I'm constipated? We've never heard of those kind of things among the animals. They don't have those kind of problems. What's happening with us? What's up? Could it be that they are more in touch with the wisdom of God than what we are, and we are the cream of the crop? Well, I'm convinced and I believe that it's time for a change. That we've got to make some changes. We can't keep doing the things that we've been doing, expecting different results. We've heard that for years, that is insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and believing the lies. Well, it must be in our genes. Cancer must be in our genes. Cancer is no more in your genes than a monkey carries a gorilla. I know we've never heard of that. Cancer is not something typically in our genes unless we put it there, or unless we cause it to come there because of chemicals, additives, preservatives, in a list of names that are on things that are canned, boxed, packaged, on these labels that even a third grader could not pronounce. Well, if you're ingesting a lot of stuff that has these type chemicals, hormones, and all this stuff in it, then I can see how cancer is going to get not only in your genes, it's going to get in your body, all over your body. So we must be wise. The first piece of wisdom that I want to give to you is this. The first piece of wisdom for wellness is this. Now hear this very closely and carefully. You cannot improve on God. You cannot make things better than what He gave it. Now, this is a lot of what we've got going on in our society today. You got the mad scientists who figured that, well, if I add some coloring to the fish, if I add some coloring to the apples, if I spray the vegetation, the fruit, and the vegetables with some of the chemicals that are out there nowadays, well, maybe we can improve on God. Since when did God need us to add coloring to fish? Now, I'm talking to you about things that are actually going on. Since when did God need coloring added to apples? Oh, but this is going on. The next time you go to the supermarket, and if you're picking up something that's in a package, in a can, in a bag, or if it simply has a label on it, read the label. Make sure you know what you're ingesting. And in some of these cases, like with the salmon fish, bags of apples, and other food items, you will see right on the bag coloring added. God does not need us to assist Him scientifically or biologically. No, He doesn't need that. So you want to be aware. You want to leave in the store stuff that has all these chemicals, preservatives, these colorings. Oh, you don't need fish with extra coloring added to it. You don't need apples with extra coloring added to them either. So the first piece of wisdom is realize man cannot improve on God. Now, as a matter of fact, I've got one here. This apple, now this is an apple basically in its organic form. No coloring added to this. I made sure that I don't bring stuff in my house that has that kind of stuff in it. But this apple, nice and red as it is, and not all apples are red. You got some green looking ones too. But it didn't need any coloring added to it. Why? Why are you going to try to improve on God because you can't? In order for man to improve on God, as far as the production of fruit, vegetables, animals, and all that stuff, to try to do that is foolishness. Because to say that we can do things better than God would make us God. It would make us greater than God. And you and I know that's not going to happen. Now, we may do things to mimic what he has done that eventually messes us up. Unnecessary. The second piece of wisdom is this. If you can't put it on your skin, don't put it in your mouth. Be very careful about that. If I can't put, wait a minute, let me say it like this. If I can't put it in my mouth, be leery about putting it on your skin, or I should be leery about putting it on my skin. And here's the reason why. If the chemical makeup, here's my third point. If the chemical makeup of what you put on the physical body does not match the chemical makeup of the body, you're going to have problems. Now you think about that. Try putting gas where the oil needs to be in your car. Try putting water where the oil is. They don't match as far as the operation of the car is concerned. So number 3 is, if it doesn't match the chemical makeup of the physical body, be leery about putting it in the physical body. Azotic carbonamide, atrazine, bisphenol A, these are chemicals that are in our food supply and in other cosmetic items and so forth. You don't even know how to pronounce the word. Azotic carbonamide, atrazine, bisphenol A, and you're like, well, what in the world is that? Chemicals that we don't need in our bodies or on our bodies. All right, so once again, number 1 is you can't improve on God. Number 2, if you can't put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin. Be leery about that. Number 3, if it doesn't match the chemical makeup of the body, it will have an adverse effect on you. You see, the body is nothing but a complex chemical factory, breaking chemicals down all the time. This is why I ask the food items, like let's say this banana. I'll ask the food items that I put in my system. I'll ask them questions. Now, I know people sometimes think, are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I'm tending to be wise about what I put in the greatest vehicle ever created, and that's the human body. So I'll ask that food item a question. What are you going to do if I let you in here? What are you going to do? Are you going to make me sleepy? You know, it's been said so often, particularly about black people, when we eat, we get sleepy. Now, why is that? How would you like it if you drove your car away from the gas station? You get a mile down the road, and the car just kind of just dies down and just cuts off. You get outside the car, and you start talking to the car, if the car could talk to you, and you're like, hey, what's up with you? And the car, you know, with one of the headlights, you know, like, I'm sleepy, I'm tired. What? I just gave you fuel. We just left the gas pump. What are you doing getting sleepy? Now, same rule applies to the human body. Real food shouldn't make you sleepy. Real food that's designed to be fuel, energy, nutrition for you should not make you sleepy 15 minutes after you've eaten it. Now, if you're getting sleepy after you have eaten that food, you need to consider what you're putting in your body. This is why I ask my food the question, what are you going to do if I let you in here? Are you going to make me sleepy? Are you going to make me tired? Are you going to make me irritable? You know, a lot of times people's irritableness and being frustrated, some of it comes from what people are putting in their system that disturbs their hormonal operation. Now, you get to tapping with those hormones. Oh my God. Yeah, you're gonna create a monster. You know, as far as behavior, your life is concerned, and so forth. All right. Number 4, something that Bernard Jensen, a man that I have considered to be one of my nutritional mentors. Now, he has passed away. I never met him, but I met him through his materials, through his books. Bernard Jensen made this statement: every symptom is a sign of a chemical shortage in the body. Did you hear that? Every symptom, he said, is a sign of a chemical shortage in the body. So we can say it like this: arthritis is a sign of a nutritional deficiency in the body. Cancer is oftentimes a sign of a nutritional deficiency, a chemical shortage, a necessary chemical, be it a mineral, a vitamin, an essential fatty acid, a protein, a complex carbohydrate. Every symptom, he said, and this guy lived to be 90 some years of age, he said every symptom is the result of a chemical shortage in the body. So we've got to be hyper sensitive and aware to make sure that we are getting the proper nutrients. Your body needs more than sugars. Your body needs more than vitamins. Your body needs the minerals too. Your body needs the essential fats. By the way, the brain itself, scientists say, is 60% fat. Now, if you take fat out of the diet, look what you're headed toward: dementia, Alzheimer's disease. We wonder why children seem like they're bouncing off the walls because of what they've been labeled with as ADD, ADHD, and a lot of it has its roots back into the fact that the body is void of necessary fats. If the brain's makeup is 60% fat, then it makes sense that we need to have more fats in our diet. You can get them by way of avocados, your nuts, your essential fatty acids. You can get them by way of things like unrefined coconut oil. You can get the fats for the brain and in the body from items like that. And there are others that are out there too. So it makes sense that we've got to make sure that we're giving the body the necessary chemicals. The body was not designed for the high fructose corn syrup that's in many of your sodas, in most of your sodas. Notice I said most of your sodas, because I don't drink those sodas any longer. I haven't drank them in probably 20 years. When I found out the high fructose corn syrup, the corn syrup, or the aspartame, and all these deadly things, poisonous things that are in sodas, I cut them out. Now, I do have a particular drink that I drink, but it's not like what everybody else drinks. Maybe I'll show you that on the next show. All right. Next piece of wisdom is this: you don't make your health decisions in the physician's office or the hospital. You make your health decisions in your grocery stores, your restaurants, your fast food stores. You make your health decision by way of what you put in your body. That's where the health decisions are made at. So think about that. The next time you go shopping, the next time you decide to go and eat out, when you're doing these things, you are making a health decision. Now that will lead right to another. I don't see it on my list as being next. Excuse me, but I'll say this. Insurance is no indication that you're going to have good health. Well, you know that to be true. Just because you've got great insurance doesn't mean you're going to have great health. Now, I can tell you what can cause you to be assured of great health, and that is by way of what you put in your body and how you take care of the body. Do you rest? Do you exercise? Do you relate well to other people? Do you get plenty of sunlight? Do you get plenty of fresh air? Now, those are assurances, all right? And staying in contact with God. Never make light of the presence of God. Man was never designed to live outside the presence of God. To live outside the presence of God is like living without oxygen. We need his presence. We need his reality. We need his counsel. We need his help. Like the trees and the vegetation, the flowers and so forth need sunlight, rain, and air. You got to have him. You can't live properly without him. All right? The next point, the next piece of wisdom is genetics, they are your tendency, not your destiny. Again, genetics are your tendency, and they are not your destiny. You see, there are a lot of pieces of false information out here like, well, it's in the genes. You know, black people have high blood pressure in the genes. Well, that's just like saying a cow probably has arthritis in his genes. Not so. Lies that have been put out there to drive people to drugs. That's the truth of the matter. All right? So, most of our problems are not genetic. They come from things that we ingest in the body that activates the genes in the wrong direction. All right? If you tamper with the genes by giving the body stuff that it was not designed to have, then of course you're going to have problems. You're disturbing the genetic makeup by what you're putting in your system. This is why I said earlier, if the genetic makeup or the chemical makeup of what you put in your body or on your body does not match the chemical makeup of the body, then of course you and I will have problems. All right, number 7, the 7th piece of wisdom. The further away you get from God's word on nutrition, health, and wellness, the quicker you will develop sickness and disease and eventually shorten your lifespan. You see, God gave us the instructions. He told us what to do. He's the one who manufactured the human body. He's the one who prescribed what is to go into the body. And that makes sense. Come on now. If I designed the Mercedes-Benz car, I know what it takes for that car to run. I know what it takes for that car to give you many years of service. If I designed it. I mean, come on. I'm the one who put it together. So it is with the human body. Doesn't it make sense that if God designed the human body, we need to take it back to him or back to his wisdom? We need to ask, what would God do? What would God recommend for the human body? But we haven't been doing that. We've been doing everything for the most part as a society of people the last years at large to stay away from God, to stay away from his wisdom. Well, you know why? Because, well, we've adopted a wisdom of our own, and we think, we can make man like God made man. We think we can produce foods without the wisdom of God, so we will go and produce these foods that even insects won't even bite into. Now, if you're eating something that an insect won't even bite into, don't you think you need to leave that alone? If it's not good for the insect, you know it's not good for the human body. And this is what is happening. People are literally eating items that insects will not even bite into. Wow. All right. The next piece of wisdom is, you'll like this. We are getting people saved in the sanctuaries of the churches, and we're killing them in the fellowship halls. You heard that right? Yeah, getting them saved. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus just now. So we get them saved at the altar, and then we want to celebrate them getting saved and take them to the fellowship hall and feed them stuff that will cause them consistently and persistently, in particular, to end up going to heaven early. It's not God's plan. It's not God's will. And churches have some of the most sacred cows of anybody on the planet. I mean, the chickens, they know that they are in trouble every weekend because they know that the church people are going to be flocking out of the churches to the fast food or to the restaurants and so forth to get some fried chicken. Now, I know I just stepped on a whole lot of people's toes right there. See, I'm not saying not to have chicken, but when you start frying that bird, and these guys, they know it. I can imagine them talking to one another. Now, last weekend, they got Grandpa. They're going to probably get you this week. And from what we heard how they did Grandpa, you're going to be dipped in some boiling oil. Oh, my wife is in the background laughing about this as well, you all. Amen. Oh, yeah. Chickens talking to one another. The cows get to talking to one another. Man, you're going to be fried. Yeah, those church folks in particular, they love fried chicken. Now, they got Grandpa and great-grandpa, and I know one of us are going to be next. You know, let me tell you something. One of the quickest ways to shorten your life is by eating fried foods, particularly on a consistent, regular basis. Well, now, you're not going to get cancer by eating fried chicken maybe once a month, every now and then, that kind of thing. But that's not how we do. We're creatures of habit. We say, this is good. More people are led by their taste buds than common sense, than nutritional information. By the taste buds. If it doesn't taste good to the average, don't get me wrong, I want things that taste well too. But the reality is more people are living by their taste buds than nutritional information, than health and wellness knowledge. And we got to stop that. Because, see, cancer is not constantly arising for no reason at all.